All right, no worries.
If anybody has an objection to that, that's fine. We can just record it. I can record it on my laptop and we can post in the group.
I have an interview next week, but I haven't joined this discussion earlier.
That's fine. There's nobody expert here. We are just somebody. Most of us are going for the first match. Neither a few of them are going for the second one. We just discuss things every day just to go on maintain the continuity of preparation. We just go. Otherwise, it's fine. You can join anytime.
All right.
So if you want to, you have an interview next week. So do you want to answer about, like, we have discussed this question? Tell me about yourself. Like, since you're first.
That's the yes, go ahead, please. Sorry. That's the one question that I always have stuttered upon, and I can't even
So you can
yeah.
use this opportunity to just go ahead with that question, like whatever you have in your mind.
Okay.
That's
I'll
fine.
just
If
say
you're not well prepared.
my name.
None.
Yeah, I'm not prepared, but I mean, I don't know how to prepare this answer because this is that, as you say that, and as everybody says, this is going to set the tone of your interview, you know. So yeah.
Just go ahead with, if you want, you can just go ahead with your answer, like whatever you have in your mind.
Hi, my name is Rabia, and I'm a graduate of Army Medical College from Pakistan. A little bit about me: I have a strong military background, born and raised in Pakistan, and did most of my clinical experience in Pakistan. I've always have a kind of affinity for science and medicine from I would say, childhood. But it got strong as I was growing up and saw my dad going through cancer and treatments, and there I have a strong affinity for that. I have
recording in progress.
Served in the military for 5 good years in Pakistan, was posted at war areas, worked under resource restrained environments, and I have served outpatient, inpatient, in almost all of the departments, because that's how the system over there works. We don't start right away from the residency. And yeah, apart from that, I've done a couple of clinical rotations here. I have worked in an NGO back there for a year, and in a rural community hospital. It was not a hospital, it was a little small clinic. And apart from my professional side, I'm a mom of 3, and I am just on my personal side, I think I'm a good baker. I like to bake when I'm not studying. And these days I am studying for step 3, and I'm writing a case report on a very rare condition. Hello? Hello?
So Dr. Rabia, go ahead, go ahead. I think somebody just recorded the session. They recorded on their side, so you were interrupted. You can continue with the answer.
Okay, so these days I am currently studying for step 3 and writing a case report with a neurologist at Vanderbilt University, Nashville. I know it's a very haphazard and a very stupid answer, but
no, it's a very good answer. According to me, it's a very good answer. But yeah, you should just close that answer. But first, you should start that answer by, maybe you can just say thank you to the program director, whosoever is interviewing you, for giving you a chance and you're excited about it. And then you should end it with, that's me.
Okay, yeah.
Or you can just add with, like, that's me in a nutshell, right? So you just have to open and you have to close your answer well.
Thank you so much for the feedback.
And your answer abruptly. Otherwise, the framework that you use, you mentioned about your hardships, like your father had cancer, right?
Yeah.
Then you mentioned about your professional background. Then you mentioned about other stuff as well. Like you mentioned about your voluntary work, right? You
Yes.
the empathetic side as well. Then you talked about your family, that you're a mother. Then you love baking. You mentioned about your hobby. So answer is is perfect answer, to be very honest. There's no perfect answer to this question. It's a very individualized answer that everybody is going to have, right? And we just try to we should just subtly we should just try to portray our qualities through this answer. right? We should just tell them that if we can take, if we are ready to take up the leadership roles, or we have we just like working in a team, or like we have our empathetic side as well,
That's true.
right?
That's
So
true.
otherwise, it's a good answer. But you should just start with you should start and end it well.
You
That's
said that I should thank for the interviewee who is interviewing me, that thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm very excited for this interview, and ended like in a nutshell, that was me.
that would look perfect. Otherwise, for me, answer was correct. Like it was very
Thank you.
good. Anybody else wants to add something to her answer?
Yes, please. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Rabia. That was a wonderful answer. You actually covered all the points, but just one suggestion what I would give. I mean, this is a suggestion which I got from others, so I thought I'll pass it
Sure.
on to you. Start with
Sure.
the present and then go on to the past. Whenever you tell about
Oh,
yourself, start with
okay.
your present. What are you
Uh,
up to right now, or what is it that defines you? If I ask you, if I meet you for the first time,
mhm.
and as a friend, if I meet you and if I ask you, what are you doing these days, so something like that, you start from there
Okay.
and then past.
Okay,
That's it.
got it.
Otherwise,
Got it.
it's a very good answer, and kudos to you for all that you've been through so far, and good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Samyukta, for that point. I'll even keep in mind that I have to go from present to past when I free draft my answer or when I speak it. Thank you so much for that point. Yeah.
Yes, and that's what I heard from people.
That's an apt point. Thank you so much. So yeah, anybody? So the question that we can start with, the first question is right now, since we have discussed all those questions, and we have time right now. Anybody wants to talk about, tell me about yourself, since many new people joined the meeting. It's okay if you are not prepared or something. I'm not prepared at all. I'm conducting these sessions for about 13, 14 days, but I haven't drafted my single question so far. Right. So if you can just want to speak about, like, tell me about yourself, then we can just shift to the questions. Answer, please. I apologize for asking. So Dr. Salam is asking for, you're asking for this question. Tell me about yourself to be repeated.
Yeah, I just want to know if this could be repeated because I missed that answer earlier. Is it possible? I'm so
I
sorry.
Or Dr. Salam, you can just answer this question on your, like, you can answer this question and we can just give you the feedback on that.
Like, I've not prepared it. Like, if I would have prepared, I could have.
That's fine. Like, no, it's okay if you're not prepared. We are actually going to be prepared on the interview day. So it's just a practice session. If you want to go ahead with the answer, that would be great, like for your practice as well.
Okay, so firstly, thank you so much for having me. Um, I would like to introduce myself as Hiba Salam, a 2023 graduate from India. I was raised in the United Arab Emirates, and following which I moved to India for my medical school, wherein I was actively involved in volunteering and research experiences. Um, and I'm currently working as a tutor for, USMLE preparation. Yeah.
About your hobbies.
Yeah, outside of medicine, I enjoy content writing and painting, which helped me to relax myself and pursue my creative thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good answer. Like, it's very small. You have to add more content to that, but that's a good answer to give during the interview. But yeah, it's like Dr. Samyukta mentioned, just go from the present till the past, present and then the past, right?
Okay.
So just
Okay,
first
sure.
talk about like where you are currently, because that I would do in my answer, that I would tell them currently I'm working at this place. Then I'll go with, I've done my medical school from this place. Where you were brought up. Then you can even talk about your family, like how many people are there in your family, just to add the content. Then if you
Mhm.
are had any US clinical experience, you can mention about that in your answer, because you want to show them that you have done US clinical experience if you have that in your CV, right? So
Okay.
you can just talk about like any leadership role you took. You can just highlight that, instead of saying that I was a leader in this and this. You can just show I participated in this as a, if you're a state coordinator or a city coordinator for that particular organization, just highlight your good points in that.
Oh, yeah,
Right?
sure.
Otherwise, it's a good answer. You speak very well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also want to add that it's kind of short. Maybe you can add more flesh to it, so it will be kind of a little as in longer than that. Then you mentioned that you're currently studying for your state three, your USMLE. I don't think that would be a good thing to say because anybody can, everybody. Maybe you say what you're doing, then also I'm also preparing for, but don't let it be the major thing you're doing. Now they expect us to be engage in something, maybe clinical stuff or something, not just studying alone. So you, even if you want to include that you're studying, say something that you're doing at the moment, maybe any rotation or maybe you're working somewhere, then as well as studying. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Good
Thank
point.
you.
Okay. Now,
I have a good question.
go ahead.
So is it okay to say, like, so if the answer goes like thank you and then my name, where I come from, and then what I'm currently doing, and then go towards it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what Dr. Samyukta mentioned, that it's,
Okay.
and Dr. Even the previous doctor mentioned the stress that it's important to mention that you're currently working somewhere, right? Because they should know that what you're doing right now. We cannot just, they can't expect us to sit at home and just prepare for the interviews.
Okay, so doing something clinically, if I am, and okay.
Even
Cool.
if you're
Thank
working on some case research work, you're working on that, or you're mentoring somebody, at least mention so that you can just tell them that I am working right now.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
had one more thing to ask. I'm really sorry to interrupt. So is it so in my PS, my story starts in a certain way, and also like that is one thing which strongly influenced me coming into medicine. So is it okay to tell that in a like one sentence in my tell me about myself or tell me about yourself? Sorry, because I also heard that don't repeat stuff which is there in your PS in your interview.
So Dr. Divya, like we did this session on just tell me about yourself previously, and in that, many people talked about why they wanted to be a doctor, right? In their introduction part only, it's up to you whether you want to add it or not, right? And it's okay, like even if you repeat few points from your PS, because there's no guarantee that the interviewer has gone through whole of your PS and CV for sure. Because we give our importance to our CV and our personal statement, but it's not very important for that interviewer.
Got
Right?
it.
Because he is interviewing many people in a day, and hundreds of students in these 3 to 4 months. So it's like we can't expect him to go through everything. So we can just I would highlight few points from my CV. If I have something good, I would definitely highlight that. Anybody
Okay, thank
wants
you.
to say something? Dr. Samyukta, you were saying something?
So 90 seconds, keep it crisp. Keep it 90 seconds to 2 minutes. 2 minutes is like maximum. 90 seconds is a perfect shot.
Yeah, 90 seconds. Yeah, that's a very important. But his answer should be like 90 minutes and maximum up to 2 minutes. Yeah.
So for
Thank
people
you.
like me,
You're not
who have,
audible, Dr. Samyukta. I think there's some issue with your network, or I think there's a problem with my network, but your voice is breaking.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, just go ahead. Yeah.
What I was saying is, for people like me, employed anywhere, I'm an international medical.
I can't hear actually.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it
Dr.
only me or?
No, you're not audible at all.
Hello?
Yeah, now you're audible. Hello?
Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, now we are able to hear you.
So I said, for people like me who are currently not employed, I would start my answer as I'm an international medical graduate and so on and so forth. And I completed my medical training, blah, 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 blah. But for people who are currently employed, like most of you guys are working in some hospital setup or something like that. So then it'll be good. You have an added advantage to portray that you are not sitting at home. You're currently employed. And I think you should make use of it. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Samyukta. Yeah, that's a very good point. So yeah, before moving to Dr. Michael for this question, then after that, the good question that I came across today is we'll shift to that after we heard Dr. Michael given the required feedback. Everybody can give their feedback, and we can just discuss what will we do if we get matched, And what if we don't get matched? So like that's again a like behavioral question, because somebody told that today to me, so we can just go with that question today first. Then we can just go with our highest and the lowest point in our lives. Like there's somebody posted that in group today. So first we can go with that question after this, and then we'll go to the next question. Yeah, Dr. Michael, please go ahead with your answer.
Good morning, everyone. I will start with this question by, my name is Michael Botros. I am born and raised in Egypt, in a small city in Egypt. I received my medical degree from Cairo University, which is one of the best universities in Middle East and ranked number second in the Africa, the best global medical school. After graduate, I received my training in Bawara Hospital. After that, I chased my dream by joining Mayo Clinic, Arizona as a volunteer research. I start from the bottom and I now a research fellow. During my research, I recognize that I have to do some observership to be familiar with the medical system here in the United States. I do more rotation in Washington and one in Pennsylvania and one in Texas. Apart from my experience, I have one brother and one sister. My brother lives in New Jersey with his family and my mother. My hobbies: I play pickleball, tennis table, volleyball. That's it.
Yeah. So Dr. Michael, the only like one feedback that I have is you have to use some mic so that you are clearly audible to everyone. I don't know if the problem is with my network, but a certain part of your answers were not audible to me.
Okay.
No, yeah, it's not on your side, Ayushman. Even I couldn't hear some parts clearly. So
Yeah.
yes, Michael, I would invest in getting a good mic and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you, everybody has a mic. I don't have a mic, but I do have a webcam. But
Your voice
Not
is
really.
clear. I am using a mic. Like I don't know if I'm very much loud or what, but I am using a mic.
you're very clear. Yeah.
I'm using my mic. I need to work on my webcam. Like I have the camera, I have to set it up, and I have the this ring light too. And I have to work on how to use that. But I'm using a mic. I hope my voice is clear.
Yes, it is.
Hey, with regards to the ring light, are you guys all using the tripod stand as well?
Yeah, Dr. Anna Sunny, you're telling something about the tripod stand?
Oh no, I was just wondering, are you all using like ring light along with like the tripod stand?
So that's my ring light behind me. I have the tripod stand too as well. I can connect it to the tripod stand. Otherwise, I can just put it like this.
Okay, and is just one ring light recommended, or do you suggest like buying two?
That I don't. To be very honest, I've never used ring light in my life. So I
All
have
right.
how this
Dr. Anna, the thing is, there are like smaller ring lights. Like my brother, he does interviews and I've seen it in his house. There are smaller ring lights that you can clip to the top of your this thing, and that sometimes might work plenty. So
Yeah.
I mean, like the thing is, it depends mainly on like where you're sitting in your house and what the lighting situation is there, right? So you just try with one.
Okay.
If it doesn't work, you can always get another one, right?
Okay.
There's
Thank
plenty of
you.
time. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody wants to give a feedback to Dr. Michael? Then we can just shift to the next question, like the first question of the day.
Just a small feedback. Instead of saying I had to do, hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible very well. Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Sunny.
Yeah, instead of saying that I realized I had to do observerships, say I wanted to do observerships. That's it.
Yes, thank you.
And Dr. Michael, are you doing are you working on a research position right now in Mayo Clinic, Arizona?
Yeah.
So then you should just start your answer with that. I am currently working as a research assistant, or like whatever your position is, because that's a good idea that you're working right now. Instead of mentioning that later on, you can just mention in the start after mentioning your name. Then you can go. Currently, I'm working in Mayo Clinic, Arizona, because it's a good place to be at, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's a good answer. Just be more clear. Try to be more clear. You can use some mic, or you can just practice on your own. Otherwise, it's a good answer. Yeah. And don't
Thank you.
like start it with thank you so much for giving me a chance to get interviewed, or just like whatever you like, and then end with that's me, or that's me in a nutshell, or some other phrase that you have to add. Don't end it abruptly.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next question we can just now move on is like we are done with telling you about yourself. We can just go ahead with the question like what will you do if you get matched, or if you don't get matched, what will be your reaction? Anybody wants to answer that question?
I really didn't match last year, so what I do more clinical experience, I do more research and published more paper and be prepared for the next cycle and be more built my CV to be qualified to be resident.
Okay.
That's what I will say.
And what if you get matched? What will be your reaction? The question is, what will be your reaction if you get matched, and reaction if you don't get matched?
If I get matched, I will study and memorize important topics and important pathologists to be prepared for the match and up to date to the most systems.
Okay.
Can I answer this question?
Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Divya.
So if I match, I obviously will be really excited to start residency, and I look forward to like working in my dream place to be at. And if I don't get matched, obviously there'll be some level of disappointment, but I think I will increase my, just like Dr. whoever. Yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't remember the name.
Michael, okay.
Michael, sorry. Yeah, just like Dr. Michael mentioned, I would increase my clinical experience. I would try to get more exposure in the US clinical system and try to network more during that time and build upon my research publications and apply for the next cycle.
All right, so I have something to say. So Dr. Devya and Dr. Michael, as you said that if you get matched, then you'll study and you'll get excited for your destination place. If you don't get matched, you're just gonna get more observerships and networking. How about if you are a program director and the candidate gives you the same answer? Would you like that candidate or no?
It's a behavioral question at the end of the day, as I mentioned. So you should be mentioning about some your reaction, or yeah, that's what exactly Dr. Suraj is mentioning.
No, I mean just for each answer we should justify ourselves. I'm not saying that the answer was wrong.
Yeah,
answer is good, but we have to modify. See, this just shows that your thinking is only, or your life is just revolving around match only. That's it. You don't have any personal life, so you can answer. For example, let's just say, okay, so, that's a very good question. Of course, if I get match, I would be really excited. And before starting this journey, I would really like to thanks my parents, and I would like to visit some places where I really want to go. And then I would like to start this new chapter of my life. So, I mean, you are telling them that before starting this journey, you want to take a break, you want to go some places, you want to visit, you want to freshen your mind. And then, of course, you can also say that I will also try to prepare myself. I'll do my homework, that what things I will be needing during this residency time period. What are my program's expectations? So I'll try to be on those expectations for my program. This is what you'll say if you are getting matched. If you're not getting matched, okay. If I don't get matched, of course, it will be a very big disappointment for me, but I will not sit back. I'll try to continue my patient care wherever you are working. You can say that I'll still try to take care of my patients. I'll try to get, if you are doing any residency, I'll continue my residency. Apart from that, I will take the feedback from the programs where I interviewed, that what was the thing that did not match me, or how can I improve myself, and I'll try to work on those things to come back next year with a more strong application.
That is a really good feedback. And yes, I do see the faults or the flaws in my answer now. Thank you so much.
Wrong, but yeah, obviously everybody will answer that. You have to be like more diplomatic, and you have to just show, the behavioral side, the empathetic side, and how, like, you have to just show a different side to the program.
Yeah, I mean, just don't show them that your life is revolving around this match, and if you don't get match, again, you will start thinking about the match. Just tell them, okay, if you don't get match, that's fine. Your life will still be going on. You'll still be helping your patient. You'll be still doing your residency or research anywhere you are into it, and you will take the feedback from the programs where you interviewed, and you'll ask them that what were the areas where you were weak, and you would like to improve them. So next year you come back with a more stronger applicant.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that shows them you're resilient, that you are really resilient, and you are just not thinking that, okay, not matched, then again observerships are working and again apply for the match. Of course, we will do that. I mean, but we don't have to tell them this thing, that we are just going to revolve around these things. We have to show them our other side as well, that we are resilient, and we have a life outside of medicine as well. So this is how you will justify your answers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
So should I go with my answer? Anybody wants to answer this question?
Thank you very much. Before that, I was going to say, okay, from the spiritual aspect, like being positive, or like saying, oh no, I'm going to get matched. I believe I'm going to get matched. But with this answer, I'm really grateful. Thank you.
So should anybody wants to answer this question, or I even have prepared my answer for this? Can I go with my answer?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please
Dr.
go
Gupta,
ahead,
I guess
Ayushman.
you can.
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. So firstly, talking about if I get matched, definitely I will be very excited about that when I see that email that me getting matched into a residency program. Then I'll go to a small temple in my house and I would go down and take blessings of my God. I'll go and hug my parents for supporting me throughout this journey. And then after that, I will just celebrate with my family and spend the maximum time before starting the residency with my family and friends, and travel to few religious places in my country. And yeah, and I will use all my knowledge to help the future students for getting matched into the US residency as well. I'll try to mentor for the help they need. So yeah, that will be my reaction when I get matched. And in case I don't get matched, firstly, I am very optimistic, but I keep the pessimism alive inside me. So yes, definitely, I'm a human at the end of the day. I've worked very hard. I'll be heartbroken. I'll take a week at least to introspect myself and sit down and calm down and get over that situation. Then I will try to come out of that situation and introspect myself that what went wrong and where can I improve. I'll try to get more experiences, get in touch with more people, and yeah. So that's I think I would react if I don't get matched.
Yeah, that's a very good answer. And I just got a new idea as well. So if they are, so we all can add one more thing in if you get matched. So if you have showed them that you are very easy to go person, and you have a great network of friends, then you can also add on that if I get matched, of course I would be excited. I'll thanks to God. I'll thanks to my parents. And then you can add on one more thing that, but I'll be careful because I'm surrounded by my other friends who are applying for match. I'll make sure that if we all have got match, then definitely we are going to have a success party and we can show the world. But if any of my friend does not get match, I'll also try to support him. I'll celebrate my success, but I will also try to what you can use. I mean, not empathetic. There's one more word.
Considerate
I'll share maybe I'll share the grief with him. No, not the grief, but you can. I mean, you can just think about some word that, but you have to just acknowledge that you're not leaving your friends who haven't, who are not matched, and you'll try to mentor them and you'll help them to assess their weak areas, and you'll prepare them for the next match. So this shows that you just don't think about yourself. You're a team player. even though you have got your success, but you still think about the friends who didn't match.
I have a quick thing to add, which I received from like other people. So, many people have told me that be careful when you talk about being religious or being spiritual, because sometimes the interviewer might not be, and you know, like, so that is something I got from like a few of my friends who matched last season, and also like other people that I've been talking to. So it's
To
a
avoid
choice,
conflict.
obviously, but yeah, like be careful about that.
But Dr. Divya, I think like I'm not very religious, but I believe in my religion, and the first thing that I want to do is to thank my God for supporting me throughout this journey. Yeah, I won't be mentioning a lot about religion, but I can just say I would thank my God, because that would even show that I acknowledge the people who I asked for help, those who supported me throughout this journey.
Agree.
Okay,
Yes.
I like the fact that you said you thank your God, because of course you understand that they have their gods or whatever, or they don't believe in God. So saying you thank your God, yes, means that you're saying it's your God. Well done. And I appreciate the other speaker too.
But in my answer, I would just like to show them that I acknowledge everybody who supported me during this journey. Right?
Yes, that was very humble actually.
You might be atheist, that's fine, that's a personal choice at the end of the day. But
yeah,
like I tell you, if somebody doesn't want, we can move that. Like they cannot mention about the God, but yeah, I would definitely mention about my family and my sister and my friends, those who are very supportive of me. First, I would acknowledge them, and then I will do the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, just pass on the information that I got from people.
Thank you so much. I can think about that and frame my answer accordingly. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I mean, just don't use any particular religion, but if you're just saying that's a broad term, I'll thank my God. So you're not involving any particular religion in it. Yeah. So I guess that won't be a problem. You can start that. I'll of course thank my God, my parents, and my family members, friends, whoever who had an unwavering support for me during this whole journey. And that's a pretty good line you can start with.
And instead
But
of
if
temple,
you're
maybe you can add.
if you're particularly focusing on a particular, I'm sorry for interrupting. If you're particularly just focusing on a particular word, or if you are just trying to discriminate by some way, that would be kind of frowned up. But otherwise, yeah, if you're just using a broad term, so it won't be looked as a bad thing.
So instead of temple, maybe we can say place of pilgrimage, Ayushman. Just a suggestion. What do you say, Suraj and Divya?
I would just say and go down and say thank you to my God and seek His blessing. Seek the blessing of Almighty. That is just simple. Yeah, even I don't want to mention a temple or something. That's fine. I'll be very simple in that. I'll go down in front of my God and seek His blessings, and then I'll hug my parents.
Perfecto.
I mean, yeah, I think like to add to this thing, I think like it's completely fine to say temple and like just general stuff, because I think like again, I think like it definitely should be like careful with like talking about like religion and this thing. But I think like the best way to go about it is to like just mention a few positive impacts, like saying that like again like like you said like I thank my God, or like I go to the temple and like I thank God for like helping me through all of this, or like if I'm in a difficult position I pray to God. I think those are fine, right? Like, and like I think that's where it should just stop, in the sense like that's enough. I think like any more explanation I think like would give off like a wrong this thing. But like yeah, in general, like I think like just generally saying that like you rely on God, or like you believe in God, and like those things give you like positive aspects, like it helps you through tough times, or like you're gratitude and stuff like that. I think like it would like it should be fine.
Like I just acknowledge.
Yeah, I have.
Who supported me. Yeah, Dr. Indu, go ahead. Okay, sorry, I didn't recognize. Yeah, so you just go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Indu, isn't this okay?
I don't think. Yeah, I think I misunderstood. I think she's not here.
Okay, I have a shorter answer. I would like your feedback, everyone. So for this question about if I match, my answer would be, if I match, then I'll be with gratitude in my heart. I would like to go ahead pursuing family medicine residency and pursuing family medicine as a career. If I do not match, my first step would be to address the reasons for not having matched. And I believe the matching process is not the end of my life. And secondly, there are ways other than residency to be involved in patient care. It is medicine and patient care which is the core of my heart, and this is something I will look into practicing, looking at my other opportunities outside of residency and matching process. This would be my answer. Please let me know your feedback, everyone.
I feel like initially when you said, oh, what you would do when you get matched, I felt like it wasn't personal enough. Like you stated the obvious, which anyone would do after getting matched, I felt. I don't know. It's just me.
Yeah, right, Anna. I'll definitely make it. Maybe I need to put a little more icing to it. I just sounded it pretty plain just for the sake of discussion. I said it as a point. But yes, I will add those adjectives, that I'll be enthusiastic and I'm excited to start the family medicine residency, the tone and the words. Yes, I do
Actually,
agree.
I didn't mean it in terms of the adjectives, rather. I felt like I really liked Ayushman's answer because it was very personal. Like it gives you an insight to the kind of person that he is. But if you would just say, oh, I'm not talking per se about the adjectives, but rather like it's not the word, not the word flowers, but rather like this is something that I would do, or something which is very personal to you, not the residency per se. It'll give you it'll give an insight to the kind of person you are.
Yeah, exactly, Dr. Samyukta. Like, I want to listen to somebody's answer. Like, if I'm a PD, I would definitely like that he's first going to acknowledge the people, those who supported him. Right? That shows a personality trait, because they don't want to see at the end of the day, it's not a medical interview. At the end of the day, like, it's fine. Everybody's going to get excited once they match. But yeah, it's like what personal thing you're going to add to it, that will show your personality to that interview.
Okay, sure.
Right?
I'll add in the.
Like, otherwise, yeah, it's a good answer, but you can just mention that at the end. I would be very excited and I would prepare to begin my family medicine residency soon. Something like this.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Anna and Ayushman.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm the only one that noticed it, though. That when you mentioned that if you did not match, it was as if you're giving up on the whole journey. You said you focus on something else and all that. You didn't say how you would make your application better and then maybe stronger for the next application. So I felt it sounded as if maybe you don't want to pursue that career again.
Oh, okay. Oh, did it come across like that? Okay, I need to rectify that then.
Yeah, actually it did.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, I'll rectify that. Yes, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just about to say, as the previous person had mentioned, that the way it was phrased slightly felt like you're giving up and like you're just choosing to do something else. A better way to phrase it would be like, I'm going to figure out a way to like continue to be involved in the US healthcare system while I prepare myself for like the next match cycle. Maybe that's something that you could say. And like also you said that like I'm going to address this thing. I think a better way would be to start off by saying that you're going to take some time to reflect on your experiences and like your interviews and everything. Like you can use the word reflect, because because the first thing you need to figure out is what happened, why you didn't match, and then address those things. Right? So like I think you should start off by saying that like I'm going to like reflect, I'm going to look through my application, I'm going to give it to like a bunch of show to a bunch of people and ask them what could have been better and figure out why first.
Okay. Sure. Yes, I'll do that. Yeah. Thank you.
Dr. Samyukta, you can even answer that you will be affected to some extent somewhere, because you're a human at the end of the day, right? You're human, you will get affected by it, and you will take some time out of that, but yeah, you will try your best to improve. Like it's like that would show your more personal side to it, like Dr. Owen said. Yeah.
Okay, got
it. Do you want to answer this question now? or anybody else wants to answer this question, that what will you do on your match day if you get matched, or what would be your reaction if you get matched, and if you don't get matched?
Can I take a crack at it?
Yeah, sure, go ahead. I was waiting for you.
Sorry. So yeah, I think honestly, like the first thing that I would do, whether I get matched or whether by match or don't match, the first thing I would do is I think I would take a few days off to myself to process what had just happened, right? Because I've been giving myself and like my entire focus and effort to this process, that once I get the end result, I would need some time to process what had just happened. So that would be the first thing I do. And when it comes to like how I would feel if I match, I honestly, the first thing I would feel is a sense of relief, because you put all your effort into this process with no guarantee that it's going to reward you, with no guarantee that you're going to match. So if I do match, I'm going to be relieved that all of my hard work and efforts have paid off, and I'm going to take some time to process that. And then the first thing I would do once I've like settled down is go and thank everybody who has helped me along in this journey. My parents, my friends, my mentors, everyone who has like given their input, taken time out of their life to help me with this application. I would, I would give them my sincerest thanks, and like let them know that like I couldn't have done this without their help. And if I don't match, I would again take some time to process the information, and then I would come back to this, and I would like reflect on my application. I would reflect on my whole experience throughout this match process, and I would like try to understand, just try to figure out what went, what could I have done better, right? Like take some time to reflect on my application, reflect on my experiences, reflect on my behavior during the interviews and like what I said. Just think about that as a whole and work towards improving myself. And moving forward, I would like, try to fix those things that I figured out were the issues. And like, hopefully, like, work towards applying towards at the next match cycle. So that would be my answer.
So yeah, Dr. Om, I am a fan of your answers, the way you put across your points. I just like it, and I like listening to you. Of course, you're very clear and crisp to your points. But only thing that I want to say is, even I think I even say that while speaking, is that we have to minimize the use of
Okay, definitely.
Otherwise, you just even I speak or like I even talk while speaking. I must be repeating that words, but everybody of us should be careful of, like, we should stop avoiding or like some kind of interruptions. You should try to be speak it clearly.
Absolutely. That like that comes with like practice, and like again, my excessive use of the word like is something that I know is an issue for me, and I need to correct it.
But you
speak
thank you so much for that. There's no doubt over that for me. I really like listening to you.
Thank you so much, Ayushman.
It was a wonderful answer, Lokesh. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you, when you say like, like you just are making an attempt to be humble, probably.
I mean, some places it might be like that, but like it is a very informal way of speaking. I'm not supposed to use like that many times in a professional interview. In
any interview. I mean, those are what are the fillers, what they say are the fillers.
Exactly.
Yeah, we just need to avoid it, and yes, it really needs practice. We all have our own fillers.
Part of a speech, like regularly we say it's part of a speech. We don't do it intentionally, but yeah,
exactly.
that's how we speak.
We all have it.
Exactly.
All of us work on that. Yeah.
But when you're talking to like friends or like in these kinds of situations, nobody's going to care. It's just a part of like speech, right? But like in an interview, it's going to like again, see, I keep doing it.
It hinders with their concentration level. That's it.
The thing is, these things will disappear with practice. Because like you use these like filler words when you were trying to stall for time to figure out the next thing to say. If you rehearse your answers,
yes.
all of these will go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
But the points you stated were very good, Lokesh. Yeah, excellent. As Ayushman already
Can I
said.
ask
Thank you so
a
much.
quick thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, like this, like Dr. Om said, you know, there are some filler words that we all use. But my question is, if we don't use those, would it sound like a rehearsed, regurgitated answer? Just asking, because this is my first session today. So,
The thing is, right, like this is actually something that a lot of people, like I've like thought about a lot. The thing is, at the end of the day, your answers can be rehearsed. It is completely fine to have a rehearsed answer for an interview. Nobody is going to judge you for preparing for an interview, right? But the thing is, it shouldn't sound robotic. It should, like, the thing is, when you talk about something that is genuine, it will show in your tone, it will show in your voice. It won't sound like you're reading off of like a PowerPoint presentation, right? Like
right.
when the answer says, so that's how your answer should sound. Like your tone and like the way you speak about what you speak, that matters. So when you rehearse the things, it makes sense. Obviously, you want to like get your thoughts organized and like present them in a concise, clear way that the interviewer understands and like they want to listen to it. So that's fine. But like when you speak, you should speak in a way that is like honest and genuine, and you are stating facts. You are explaining yourself, not something someone has prepared for you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So,
But
Dr.
is it
Divya,
okay to like use it sometimes when you actually, maybe it's like in your flow of your answer? It's just a, I don't know, because I find it, I'm sure everybody does, but
No,
yeah, we
no,
all
that's
find it difficult to not use such words, or like, like, or like, all these words.
So, Dr. Divya, once I was listening to an interview by Karan Johar. He was getting interviewed by Barkha Dutt, and he at that time told that it's an art of the people listening to make out whether our answers are prepared from before or not, right? Because we do
Got
prepare answers from before, but it's your art to make it out that we have whether rehearsed it, those answers or not. So it's an art at the end of the day how we're going to answer those questions.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And to be very honest, to just look like I'm more spontaneous, I would never draft the full answer and practice it. I just
Yeah, that is one point
I
I
just
got
put
from many of the people.
I
Never
just put
write
down
your full answer, just write the points that you want to mention.
yeah, like for example, yesterday also I mentioned, and Dr. Suraj even mentioned yesterday, that if you mention about, suppose somebody asks about our strengths, we can just jot down 7 to 8 strengths, our strengths on a piece of paper, and we can remember that. And then we can start our answer by saying that yeah, the 3 strengths that I feel is the 3 of my strengths are, then we can just mention 3 of them instead of all 6. But yeah, you should just jot down more points so that at least you can just mention about 3 points at that time,
Got
right?
it.
And you just have points in your mind, else you can make your phrase your answer at that time, so that it doesn't look that you have rehearsed it very well. It will look like more you are spontaneous. Yeah.
Thank
So
you so much.
should we move on to the next
Sorry.
question with this?
Sorry, I just want to like tail this off by saying that eventually some interviews you are going to get asked a question that did not prepare for. And if those questions come up, eventually all of this is going to come back. All your likes, you knows, and all of that will come back. The thing is, if you feel like then some people have this issue where they talk a little slowly and like they use it a lot, and like the issue becomes that like the person is like waiting for you to get to the next point, right? Like you should never let it get to that. So if you feel like you have those kinds of issues, practice. Just practice with another person, practice in front of a mirror. Once you practice and like you have that, like you get the flow going, all of these will like eventually cut down and you'll be more clear. Like your answers will get shorter. It'll be a good answer.
So anybody else wants to answer the question? Ishita, do you want to answer this question? Or anybody else wants to answer this question, that what will you do if you get matched? What will be your reaction if you get matched and if you don't get matched? Harshita, do we have Harshita with us today? Or like we should shift to the next question. Dr. Fauzi, do you want to answer this question?
Yeah, I want to answer. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So if I get matched, which I hope it does, I'll be first of all very hopeful and very thankful to that this actually happened, and very grateful to my parents, to my friends, to everyone that helped me, to you guys, of course. And then I will take some time off to take in the moment and celebrate actually matching. And then
Dr. Fauzi, you're not audible.
where I match, I have to search about it when I'm.
I think he left the meeting accidentally, or he'll join back again. So we can continue with somebody else till he joins back. He can just continue with his answer. Harshita, do you want to answer this question? Or Dr. R, do you want to answer this question? Go ahead.
Yeah, if I match, as Dr. Om said, that I will be much relieved. Definitely that hard work has finally paid off. And I would like to thank everybody, my friends, my families, my mentors, my colleagues, my career counselors, everybody around me. And then I would like to, as a mom of 3, I would like to work around the logistics where I've matched and how the things would shift, like how the things would work out. But definitely I will be extremely happy, and I will thank everybody around me who has helped me. But if I don't match, I would grieve at the loss of an expected career path, definitely. And after the initial shock and grief, I would conduct a self-assessment that why I did not match and how to improve the next match cycle. Either it's by seeking out observerships, research opportunities, working on my interview skills, where I did wrong. And I try to come back as a stronger candidate in my next cycle. Yeah.
That's a good answer. Anybody wants to give a feedback? Or Dr. R, like what I feel is that since you're a mother of 3, so somebody who's interviewing you will feel, will have this question in your mind that how they are going to, how this girl is going to, handle her residency and her 3 children side by side. So I think when you introduce yourself, you should mention that I have a supportive family, something like this. That you are telling them directly that I have somebody who's going to support me throughout. In spite of
I know, because I know that they will ask me how the things will unfold, how will you work out around the situation that I am in. Definitely, yeah, I will have to mention that I have a supporting.
Otherwise, this answer was good. According to me, you mentioned everything. You just showed that you acknowledge everybody who helped you out, and how you are going to, and then after that you can work on the logistics and spend more time with your family. For me, your answer was good, but I think you should somewhere mention that you have a supportive husband or in-laws or whosoever is going to support you throughout the journey, so that they have an idea that somebody is going to support you.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Exactly. And again, I love like Ayushman's point, and just to help it along, I would honestly, since you are married and you are a mother of 3, I would say something that now you plan to take a vacation with your husband and your 3 kids to spend some time with them again, because I think A, it's a very wholesome point, and B, you are now stepping away from the process to focus on the people who have been supportive and understanding of you through the journey, right? So if you had a point like that, I think it's a very wholesome point that leave a good impression on the interviewers.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. I really appreciate your feedback. Yeah.
Anybody else wants to add something, or we can just shift to one more person and then we can shift to the next question? Harshita, do you want to say something? We have been missing you throughout the meeting today. Harshita, you're not audible. Your voice is breaking. I don't know. Like I think it's a problem with my network, or it's happening with everybody. Are you able to hear Harshita?
No, I can't.
Harshita, I think you should just leave and join the meeting again. Maybe that would help. Yeah. So anybody else wants to answer to the Harshita joins back again the meeting? Anybody wants to answer the question again, or after Harshita we'll just shift to the next question?
Shall I try answering, improvising on my answer and answering it a second time? Of course, go ahead. Just be quick with that. You can definitely answer. Just go ahead and be a little bit quick. Okay. And then we'll shift to Harshita and then the next question. Okay. If I match into your residency program, then I shall first express my gratitude to my family, friends, and colleagues and mentors who have been, without whose support, everything would have been futile. It's because of them that I could reach to this point, and I'll be extremely happy and excited to begin my journey in a career of family medicine. If I do not match, then I'll have to, I will be certainly disappointed, but also I will reflect on the reasons for not having matched, and I'll try my best to address the, I'll try my best to work on the reasons why I did not match, and will improve on myself and apply for the next matching cycle. Is this okay?
Like, I think now it's a better answer. Like, yeah. So you're just showing that you will get affected by you not getting matched. That's very obvious. That's going to happen with everybody. And then you just start showing that I'll work more on myself and be better prepared for the next match. For me, it's a good answer. Anybody else wants to add something?
The only thing that I would like correct is like to avoid the use of the word futile, because that sort of like implies that like everything is a waste if you don't get a match. Your experience is still your experience, and they have shaped you into who you are. So I would avoid saying like using the word futile. Say something like I could not have gotten here today without the help of my friends or my family. Something like that. Like you don't want to like say stuff like it's been a waste or futile, something like that.
Okay, I'm probably going between extremes. Yeah. Sorry.
No, other than that, I think your answer was like very clear, and like again, I like that you're showing like how it would affect you personally and how you would deal with that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good way to go about it.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
And Dr. Hamad just talked about the question, what challenges we are going to see in internal medicine. Dr. Hamad will just take up that question for sure. That's a very important question again. So we'll take up that in the tomorrow's meeting. We'll just discuss the points. Like today we're discussing this question and the next question we're going to discuss. We'll discuss the next question. Tomorrow's question. First question would be why internal medicine? What are the challenges that are going to see in the internal medicine in the future? Yeah.
Can I give my answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a quick. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
then you can just continue, whoever wants to talk after that. And Dr. Habib, just quickly give your answer, then we'll shift to the next question. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. If I get matched, I would be the happier person as my dreams come true. I will go thank you to all the persons that support me in my journey, especially my mentors, my family. And if I don't get matched, obviously I will be with a heavy heart. I will take some time, reflect on my experiences. Then I will reach out to my seniors and mentors and ask about what are the deficiencies in my application. Then I set the goal and start working on it, as it's my dream to be in the residency, and I would not let it go as it. I will stick with it and keep working on it. Thank you. Any feedback, me?
or you're like when you get matched, that's very good thing that you're going to acknowledge with the people those who help you. But after that, let's add also, add like you'll spend more time with your family before beginning your residency. You'll just get recharged spending more time, or maybe cooking food or traveling with your family. You add little more after you get matched. Apart from acknowledging your family, just add few more points, so that it just the answer becomes a little bit more longer, and it gives a broader idea to them that what you're going to do after you get matched.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, otherwise I think the second part was good for me. Anybody else wants to give the feedback, and then we'll shift to the next person?
Yeah, anyone who does not know cooking, they can add this thing that I'm going to learn cooking before I come to United States if I get matched. So
That's a
this
very
could be a
good
good
point.
point that yeah. I mean, they want to see that you are still open to learning new things. So it's not like that they want to know that what exactly you're going to do after match. They just want to know your personality, that you're open to learning at every step. Even if you're 50 years old, you still want to learn cooking, or you still want to explore new things. You want to go traveling. So you have to justify these things. If someone has already written that I love traveling, and he says that after getting match, I'll start studying so that I can perform well in program. So program might doubt that he loves traveling, and after getting match, he's not going for traveling, and he's just going to study for that. So that creates disparity. So you have to justify all your things. Whatever you have written in CV, your answers should be aligning with those things.
Yeah, maybe I can just mention like I will learn sewing as well. Like from my mother, I learned how to sew the torn clothes or something. Like I can just mention some skill I can learn, because I actually cook really good food. So I would spend more time cooking food for my family and friends. I can just say that for me. Otherwise, as Dr. Suraj mentioned, I could just add some skill as well, which I can learn and to help me to sustain in the United States in future on my own. Yeah, that's a good point.
So we can frame it like, so after, once you get match, I would still I would find time to continue my hobbies, and,
Absolutely.
Yes, and even you can also mention, I'm sorry for cutting. People can mention driving as well. If you don't know how to drive, it's very important in United States. So you can mention that I'll learn driving. Though you can say that I did not get time during my residency, along with USMLE steps, preparation, and everything. So at least you'll be free for a few months. In the meantime, you'll like to learn driving, as you know that you are very dependent on car. And if you are getting matched in a suburban area, not in NYC, then of course you need a car.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. You're very well
That's a
learned.
very practical point.
You're very well learned. I just love listening to your good points.
I mean, it's just that when we are talking, so these ideas come up in mind. So it's just like it's a mutual learning for everyone. I'm also learning. I didn't have these points if I was sitting alone. When I'm talking to you guys, of course, these ideas hit up my mind, and then I share with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So yeah, should we move to the next question? Because I think it's just 20 minutes left. Like the next question is, what would be the highest point in your life and your lowest point?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat the question?
What was the highest point in your life, and what was the lowest point in your life, and how you dealt with that? What you learned from that?
So highest point, you mean that an achievement that you're really proud of, and lowest point means any disappointment that you want to talk about.
Yeah,
would be an accomplishment, I guess. Just talk about and this is as the same question. Like, tell me about a failure in your life and how you dealt with it.
Same.
And
any success in life? Yeah, any success and failure in your life? Yeah.
Here again, if you want to talk about the success, then I will talk about any success that developed me as a person or my strength, that I would at least talk about.
Go ahead.
Because they won't be asking the same question in different ways. Like if they're gonna ask me about my any strength, and then again they ask about the success. So yeah, I remember the high point was for me in my pre-med school when I joined as a house team captain. So we had the 4 teams, and my team was one of the team who was not winning for last 13 years. And when I joined as a captain, so I really try to work on team. I really put my focus on teamwork and try to respect the team members' opinions, whatever opinions were in the best interest of the team. If somebody in my team had a better idea than me, then of course I respected their ideas and put that idea in the front so that we can lead the team. So after all these things, or after all these efforts, respecting everyone's opinions and developing my conflict resolving skills, we were able to achieve annual champions trophy after 13 years. So this was a very high time for me because this was a team who never won in last 13 years. And of course, being a house captain, it was a proud moment for me that with this teamwork, we were able to achieve this success. So again, here I will not just mention I was able to success or it was just my hard work. So here you have to use the word we. So you have to show as a team that you are a good team leader. And it was success moment for me just because of the things that after 13 years we won it. For the low point, maybe I can just talk about that. I went unmatched last year. That was a low point for me, but I didn't set back, and I tried to learn on my weaknesses. I tried to analyze I would try to analyze what things were lacking in my CV, and I tried to improve on them. And this year I came back with more stronger CV and applying again this year to not let down on my dreams. So this is what I'll be saying. I mean, it's still missing maybe some buzzwords, but this will be the main theme of my high point and low point.
So Dr. Suraj, your high point was very good. It was very well prepared, and that was very good high point. But for a low point, like I don't know if you want to mention that you are applying for the second season. You just want. I don't know if you want to put it from your that you want to put it across that I am applying for the second season, unless and until they get to know that from other place. Like, do you want to mention it from the front that no, it's my second match cycle. I didn't get matched last year.
Yeah, I guess I would not. So because I did not have any other choice right now, that's why maybe I just mentioned it.
That's your strength for sure, but we don't have to be brutally honest like we discussed yesterday, right? That's definitely
exactly
that you are saying you worked on yourself again after facing a failure in your life. I can understand that how tough that was, but do you want to put across that this is my second match season? Unless and until they know it from the application or from Eras as a second match season, or they ask you specifically that whether you are applying the first or the second time, at that time you can be honest. But like if it would be me, I would never mention from front that it's my first second match cycle. That's
I believe you are right. Yeah, I believe you are right. So just bluntly came out of mind because I couldn't think of anything else at my low point. I'll still take some time until the meeting is going on. Maybe I can come up with a better point.
Yeah.
So yeah,
otherwise
I'll appreciate if someone else can also.
Even your low point was very good, but yeah, we don't have to be brutally honest. That's my opinion. I am not an expert, but yeah, that's what I think. I would never tell them that I went unmatched last year. Then they will come up with the next question: what happened last year?
Yeah. No, I completely agree, and even Dr. Salam has also mentioned about it. So I'll respect your opinions, Ushman and Dr. Salam. So yeah, I should not mention about that thing.
For anybody else?
I have a quick thing to ask. Like, do you think would it be too simple to say that my highest point till now would be getting into medical school because it was very competitive and I had like gone through a few hardships during that time as well? Do you think it would be simple to say that my highest point would be getting into med school?
So,
That is my question.
Dr. Divya, just give me a second. I have an answer. I want to answer this question. Then you can just listen to that. And I have a similar answer, but not the med school. But I have a similar answer. Then we can just talk about whether we should talk about this or not.
Got it. Yeah.
Right. So I'll just answer this question quickly. So for me, my highest point in my life was today getting interviewed by you, because yes, I have doubted myself many a time in the past, maybe 1.5 year, whether I reach this point or not, because it has been a difficult journey. I was multitasking at the same time. I was working, I was preparing for my STEP exams, I was looking for some research opportunities. So I doubted myself, but today sitting in front of you getting interviewed for a residency program is is one of the highest points in my life. Talking about my lowest point, what I feel is that it's not the lowest point, but it's something that I regret, that I didn't work on my health, while preparing, while doing everything else, be it studying or being in a medical school. I didn't focus that much on my health. I tried to improve my health every day, but I didn't put that much effort like I'm putting on this journey to get matched into US residency, or whatever effort I have put during the medical school. I didn't put that much effort on my health as well, and I acknowledge that fact, and I'll be working on that in the future. So yeah, that's what I feel is one of the lowest points in my life, and that I regret.
I mean, the lowest point, I really like it, that you have been justifying, and even you just did not say that you did not take care of anything about your health. You justified that you were taking care of your health, but not that much as you were prepared. So that's a good answer. And for highest point, I mean, I don't know if that would be too cheesy for the program, that you want to tell them that this is my highest point, that I'm interviewing at your program. They might get suspicious that you're going to say this thing to every program, unless you haven't signaled them.
I would just say that, getting interviewed by somebody, I would not say that your program, I would say that maybe getting interviewed by somebody for the internal medicine residency program, or for internal medicine residency. I just want to generalize it, that getting interviewed for a residency position, it's a high point for me, because I doubted myself many a times in past 1 or 2 years, but finally out of my hard work, I reached this point. Like what Dr. Divya is saying, yeah, out of the hardships, she still entered into the medical school because of her passion.
Isn't it better that if you just say that applying for the match cycle is the highest point, no matter whatever the results would be?
Yeah, that's that.
Okay, so you are not justifying any program. You're just saying that applying for match, you always doubted yourself that you cannot make it, but you're happy that you could make it so far, and this is the highest point. And no, I don't care whatever the results would. You are just giving your best without thinking that whatever the results would be, you think this is your best point.
Okay,
that's a very good point. I really like this point.
So I mean, don't be just specific to any program.
Yeah, absolutely. I just mentioned that applying for the application, submitting it was the highest point. Definitely, I would say that maybe getting interviewed today, sitting in front of you, something like that. Okay, that's a very, very good point. Thank you so much.
And can the lowest
was just going to say.
Sorry, continue.
No, sorry. I was just saying that somebody else was just trying to give some feedback to Ayushman. I don't know who was that person. I couldn't read the name.
Dr. Om, you're here.
Yeah, I'm right here. That's the thing. When I heard your answer, Ayushman, I don't think I've been more confused, because not by your answer, because if someone told me, like if you told me just without any context, without any explanation, that you were going to say that being interviewed by you was the highest point of my life, highest point, I would have been like, don't do it. It's too cheesy. It's too this thing. Right. And the same thing like with your lowest point, the thing is, it is a regret. I don't know if it's the lowest point, because the thing is, like, lowest point, I in my mind implies a single incident, right? So that's the thing. But the way you phrased it is so good. I definitely see it working as an answer. The way you talked about it, both the interview and this thing, the way you talked about it was very, very good. And that alone is like selling me that, like, they're selling me on this thing that like these things could work as answers. So yeah, I really like your answers, like both of them, even though like, the start again, like feels a little maybe like problematic, but the way you explain it covers it up perfectly. So I think like you should go for this.
Because Dr. Om, what I feel is that it's very hard to mention about the lowest point in my life. I had definitely, I think last year, but I don't want to talk about it during the program. But instead of saying that I didn't have any lowest point in my life, or something adding, like answering it forcefully instead of making something up, I just want to think that maybe I cannot mention that it's my lowest point, but it's a regret that I have.
Absolutely, I completely understand. You shouldn't like force yourself to talk about something that you're not comfortable like mentioning in the interview. So I completely understand. And again, that's what I told you, right? Like even though this thing, I feel like I'm like kind of shaky on, the way you explained it is more than enough to convince me that this is a good answer. So yeah, I think you can go for this.
Yeah, but the first one that you told, even Dr. Suraj told that it's very cheesy. But I will replace it with submitting my application, because that was one of the highest points of me. Yeah. So, but I wouldn't say that I'm getting interviewed today because it will be more program specific and more cheesy, right? So
yeah, the thing is,
okay, sorry. I was thinking you may have to modify that lowest point. Like the last speaker said, when you say lowest point, it's like a point, something that has to do with an incident. I think, but for you, I like the way you said that it's an ongoing thing. But you may want to modify it. Then again, when because I'm, like I told you yesterday, I'm also like on the big side. There's a way they tend to attach, being big with depression and all that. So you may want to modify it in a way that it won't strike like you were depressed. Of course, they hate hearing about mental health issues and all that. So just modify it. I like the way you went about it, but just try and modify it to, address those two things. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. NJ. Everybody who just gave me feedback, I'll just draft my answer in a better way. Yeah.
I have one thing to add.
Sure.
Maybe you can, when you're talking about your health and it's an ongoing thing, maybe you can say, one thing which happened to you, and then you can be like, okay, by this I realized that, I have not been concentrating on my health. And that is one, so that you can mention one incident and you can continue with your answer about health.
Maybe
and that you regret not taking.
Yeah, maybe I can just talk about undergoing bullying by people. Though I would say that it wasn't much bullying I got. I got because of my weight for sure. But I could just mention that maybe going bullying or something like sometimes I used to feel breathless or sometimes. So then I started working more on my health. But
that's much better, much better.
Exactly. So you can tell one incident which made you realize. So it could be a point, a lowest point.
Okay,
and
thank you so much.
It still leaves my question unanswered. Like, would it be too simple to mention getting into medical school as one of the highest points?
Divya, I think like again with like I think it like similar to Ayushman's this thing, it can work if you like phrase it well. At the end of the day, I think like anything can work if your answer sounds good. So if you want, take some time, think about an answer, and then let us know, and then we'll know whether like it's good. Because I don't think outright getting accepted into medical school is like a simple or like cheesy answer. If you can talk about it well enough, I think it can work.
Awesome. Thank you.
Suggestion to Divya. Like just like Lokesh said, you were saying something about hardships and like before going like before getting admission into medical school. I think you can combine these two and say despite whatever the hardships, I I struggled so much, blah blah blah, but I was able to secure a seat in the medical school. Uh, with my hard work or something like that. I think that would make a better answer.
Sure. I will phrase an answer by the end of this meeting so that you guys can give me a feedback.
So Dr. Om, do you want to answer this question, or anybody else wants to answer this question?
Can I ask for something, please?
Yeah, just you have a question, Dr. Sylvia?
Yes, I have a question. So, according to the lowest point in my life, can I mention that losing my father was the lowest point in my life? Because I lost my father like 5 years ago, and I consider it some lowest point in my life for now. Or should it be like in terms of my career? I would like to.
No,
I
absolutely.
would like
If
to
you're
hear your
comfortable
ideas.
talking, sorry, Sylvia, I was just saying, like, if you're comfortable talking about that, then yes, absolutely, you can mention that that was like your lowest point in your life.
Okay, thank you so much.
So Dr. Sylvia, yeah, like as Dr. Som told, Dr. Om told that you have to phrase it well. If you're comfortable talking about that, you can just mention how you, you know, what you went through quickly, like maybe in 3-4 lines, what you went through and how you overcame that.
All right. Thank you
Right?
so much.
So that would be like, it will be a good answer. That's it. It should not be related to your career, right? I didn't have any lowest point in my career. Like, like honestly, touch wood, like whatever I wanted, I just, you know, had that with me, right? So there's nothing like a lowest point in my career. And the interview is not only related to medical stuff. It's actually they want to know about your personality.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Perfect. So Dr. Om, you want to answer this question?
Yeah. So with like the highest point in my life, I was also going to say that like it was being accepted to medical school. The reason being, when I was in school, like just before my final exams, I encountered a motorcycle accident that left me bedridden for quite a while. So I wasn't able to perform as well on my final exams, and I was not able to perform well on my entrance exams to get into medical college. So, and due to the nature of my condition, I had to, I was unable to like study and put in my best effort. So I felt like I was very doubtful that was this the end of my career? Do I have to give up on my dreams of becoming a doctor just because I can't focus, get past this to focus and like study? But I still managed to like pull through, and as I got better, like I was able to like prepare for my exams better. And when I ended up getting accepted into the college that I wanted to join, it was definitely the highest point in my life, knowing that like my career, my dreams and my aspirations weren't dead, and that I, like in fact, like it's the opposite. Like you know, I've achieved what I wanted to achieve at this point in my life. So that was definitely the highest point in my life. The lowest point, um, hmm. Okay, the lowest point, give me a couple of minutes because I think I need to like frame it a little better. But yeah, this is my highest point. Like, what do you guys think?
So Dr. Om, yeah, the way you mentioned, so I think like you can just frame it this way, that the highest point in my life was when I entered the medical school, and you shouldn't be giving any explanation. Then you can say my lowest point was like when you were, maybe you had an accident, and at that time you felt that your dreams were shattered.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Ooh, I like that.
That would be like a good thing. You're talking about
Yeah.
That were the high that had the highest and the lowest points of your life.
Makes sense. So you're saying like I would say something like I would frame it like the lowest point in my life was when I had my like accident and like my entire future was in like doubt, which led to my highest point when I actually like got it. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
I worked really hard because that shows that you worked really, really hard for that, and that shows that you are a hardworking person. You have perseverance in you, right? That shows your good qualities. So that like frame it that way. I would use this situation very intelligently.
Thank you so much, Ayushman. I love the way you framed it. This, I think, like I'm going to like work on this, and this is probably what I'm going to use. Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So can I go ahead with my answer?
Sure, go ahead, please. Thank you.
So I would like to say that my highest point in my life would be getting an admission into my med school. The reason being, during my prep time, like while I was in like my 11th and 12th grade, my grandma was diagnosed with cancer. So this placed me, my family in a very difficult situation, like both financially and emotionally. So, and also this time I was taking care of my grandmother as a caregiver and also preparing for my entrance test, which was a very competitive one back in India. And despite going through this difficult times, securing a seat in my med school, I think was a very high point in my life.
Sounds very, very good. Like it shows how empathetic you are, how how you take care of others. So it shows a lot of qualities in you. And now it doesn't look cheesy at all, to me at least.
Okay. And a low point in my life also goes into similar lines. Like, so my mom was hospitalized and she was on ventilator for like a couple of days and then in the ICU for like a month. And this was all when I was like 12 years old. And that time also, like, I was the caregiver. I was administering things through NG tube, through cannulas and everything. And that really was a very, very low point in my life. Like, so, I mean, I wanted to know if it's too much family into the answers. That is one thing I wanted to ask.
No, I'm so sorry about Dr. Divya that you had to go through this much being a 12-year-old kid. Like, but I don't think like for me that personally, I don't feel there's anything too much family because they're not asking you about a low point in your medical career or a high point in your medical career. Like first, when your high point was you get into medical school in spite of the difficulties you faced, right? I can understand that what is an attachment to the grandmother, like how important it is, right? When somebody is diagnosed with something and you're burdened both financially and emotionally as well. And then think about your mother. That's again like she's your mother at the end of the day. She's the closest person to you. And seeing her on the ventilator is definitely the lowest point in your life.
Yeah. So it's not too much family. You guys don't think
For
so?
me, it's not. Like anybody else wants to add something, Dr. Suraj, Dr. Om, or anybody else?
Yeah, I would love to know their feedback as well.
I think it's like both the answers were really good. It does not necessarily have like I mean, if for anybody, I think the highest and the lowest point again like doesn't necessarily have to be like your medical school related. So like you said, your family, this one, I think it's a very good point. Now being a caregiver and it's not an easy job like for a 12-year-old girl. Like I mean, at that age, you're still learning things about the world, and then you've encountered this situation, and like I'm pretty sure you did your level best to be your mom's and your grandmom's caretaker, and I think that speaks a lot about you, like taking responsibility, like a huge responsibility at that age, such a young age. You're forced, like I think like you might be forced to mature a lot faster compared to like your. So I think very good answer. I like both of these answers. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I too completely agree with Harshita. Divya, your answer was extremely good. And yes, shouldering such a great responsibility at such a young age is something absolutely praiseworthy. So I'm sure most people will be appreciative of that. And there's nothing like if it's your family which inspired you, to get into medicine and to be what you are, well, you should mention your family. There's nothing like too much of family in the answers. No, it is what it is. That's it.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
it's wonderful. Your answers were great.
Yeah, and your answer, that's your strength actually. How you handle that situation as a 12-year-old kid. It's not a normal thing. Everybody cannot do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Also, just like a last point that I wanted to add, like the main thing I liked about your answer was like, again, the tone and like the way you spoke, it sounded very genuine. Like it sounded like it was an honest, very genuine answer.
Okay.
So I would
Thank
maintain
you.
the same, like speak about it in the same way in an interview, right?
Yeah.
Like refine the answer a little bit. So again, like, so it's clear and like you get your point across. But other than that, talk in the same tone and the same way because it sounds very genuine and honest, and I really like it.
Okay. Thank you.
So, like, I think it's now 1.5 hours into the meeting. So, like, just I think on the last question, 4 to 5 people.
I like
to go.
Sorry, can I try?
Oh, okay.
Okay. The most remarkable moment in my life was when I received the news of my pregnancy, despite multiple trials and challenges due to my prolactinoma, which necessitated the use of medication like bromocriptine. However, the joy arrived when I saw a positive pregnancy test result. It symbolized not only my personal perseverance, but also the power of hope and resilience in the face of adversity. The lowest moment for me was when I failed my pathology mock exam. It was a challenging experience, particularly when most of my classmates, including my roommate, passed. It was tough to bear, but I embarked on intense study regimen. I achieved an outstanding score in the final exam, proving to myself that resilience and hard work can turn even the lowest moment into opportunity for growth and success. Thank you.
That's a perfect sample answer.
That's a very, very good answer. The only thing, Dr. Saladin, that I would like maybe reconsider is I would avoid mentioning, like prolactinoma and the bromocrypton treatment, or just saying like you have like a medical condition, because like, sometimes like when you get too specific, it feels like you're sharing too much, and it like sometimes makes like the interviewer feel a little uncomfortable. You can definitely say you had a medical condition that complicated your pregnancy, or like you getting pregnant, but I wouldn't go into details. That's all I would say. Other than that, very good answer, very clearly written out. Like I really liked it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
I want to add one question.
I also think it's a very good answer. But it was Balale, it was sounding a little bit like rehearsed. Yeah. So just try and make it flow more naturally. Yeah, that's my contribution. Very excellent answer. Well done.
All right, thank you.
I want to add one point to it. I discussed about discussing medical conditions with interviewer with one of my mentors. My mentor told me that sometimes although you are being genuine while sharing your medical conditions, but the interviewer might have some sort of bias as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, the less you share, I think that's better. I mean, just a medical condition would be suffice. I just don't want that to work against you, because you are being genuine, but sometimes the interviewer might have some bias, and that may. Yeah,
that's very true. That's very true. They might just go and be thinking about something that will happen to you that will make you miss work and all that. So that's very true. I agree.
Otherwise, you just seeing a positive pregnancy test, that's a very, that's the highest point of your life for sure. But yeah, instead of going into details, you can just, briefly say that because of a few medical conditions, I got treated for that.
Okay.
Like that way. Otherwise, it should be the highest point of somebody's life.
All right.
I could just add one thing. I mean, I don't know if you'll be comfortable with this, but you could also just say it in one word, which you can say it as infertility. It's not basically, but
yes, very true.
But it wouldn't explain any medical condition. You can just put it in like one single word, because then they don't want to dig into details and you don't want to tell any details.
Okay, got that.
It's just a suggestion. It's your call to, like, I don't know if you'll be comfortable with that or not.
Yeah.
You can say I had difficulty conceive, like there was a period, there's a time period in my life where I had difficulty conceiving. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that should also work. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
I want that maybe you can start your
Can I go?
answer.
Okay.
So I was thinking that maybe you can say that.
Yeah, go ahead. Now,
guys, can you...
now you're clear.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, what I wanted to say was like maybe you can start your answer by the phrase that I have always been fond of kids, but there were some issues with my health, and then you can move on. Like take it to some human level, like emotional level, that this was really important to you, and then you were suffering from something which there is no need to mention about that, but you can say that I always loved kids and I was always fond of kids and this and that, and then you can start your answer maybe.
All right, thank you very much.
So we
I'd like to try. Is there still chance for me to try?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Dr. And just 1 second. I'll just save a lines and then you can go with it. We will end with your answers.
Okay. So the lowest point in my life, I would say, was when I lost my father. Though my father's death was kind of unexpected, he had a chronic illness. So after then, of course, he was a breadwinner. We were a family of 8, and my mom couldn't afford our education, couldn't afford all our education. So we got various advice telling us to go serve as house, they call it house girl. Yes. So at that point, I thought my life had ended. My dreams of becoming a doctor and all that had ended. But however, somehow my mom struggled and took loans and trained all of us through higher education, and all through, even though I struggled, I still persevered. I I was resolute, and at the end of the day, I came out the third best graduating student of that set that year, and that was my highest point. Thank you.
First, before going to the feedback to Dr. NG, I just want to say that we are 1 hour 40 minutes into the meeting. So after the feedback with Dr. NG is finished, we'll continue this answer, because tomorrow, like in first 15 to 20 minutes, we can just continue with the answer. And whosoever didn't get a chance today, they can definitely talk about this question tomorrow, right?
Okay.
And and then we'll go with the first question that we're going to talk about tomorrow is what internal medicine is going to, what difficulties internal medicine is going to face in near future.
Okay.
That would be like the first question. After we go with again this highest and the lowest point, then we can shift to that question as well. Then we'll shift to that what difficulties internal medicine are going to face in the future, because these are the behavioral questions that they might ask us, and we need to be prepared for that as well. Yeah. Okay. So we can just continue with Dr. NG's feedback, and then we'll just end the meeting. Or yeah, go ahead. So for me, Dr. NG, your answer was very, very good. You just need to frame it a little bit more like in a proper way. Otherwise, your answer that's what in a situation is your highest and the lowest point as well. Right? You've seen so many hardships. Like you could just add that we were very emotional. I love my father very much. I was very much attached to my father. So first going, getting over that grief of losing him was very tough for me. And then he was the sole bread winner of our family. So we had financially, we were very low, like we couldn't afford many things, but in spite of that, so that was one of the lowest points for me, because I thought my dreams are going to finish. But then you can add that in spite of that, my mother took loans, she worked at multiple places. Even I worked part-time to earn money. And then luckily, out of my hard work, I entered the medical school. And after that, rest is the history, and I'm today sitting in front of you. So that is one of the highest point when I got the admission into the medical school.
Okay.
So it's just like a situation that was the lowest, how you overcame that and it became your highest point.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else wants to add something before we close the meeting?
I want to ask that while answering this question, can I say that my highest point was when I got my CK result? I was not expecting that much score, but
So, Dr. Bushra, even my highest point was when I was submitted my application, and somebody, even Dr. Divya, told that when she get into the medical school, you can just frame it in a proper way. That at that time I was working. If you have a family, I was looking after my family as well, and I was working, and I was preparing for the step to CK as well. So many times I self-doubted myself, but I kept on working hard. And when I got my CK results, I was very, very happy. And that was one of the highest points of my life. You can just frame it in a proper way, that answer. And it should not be like when I received my result, I was very happy. Instead of that, you can just, tell the program director attending how you worked really hard for that. In spite you self-doubted, but still you put in a lot of effort. And when you got the results, it looked very, very nice to me. So anybody else wants to add something to Dr. NG or Dr. Bushra?
I mean, just for like Dr. Bushra's thing, I know the step to score is important, and it's good that you got like a much higher score than you expected, and that's good. The thing is, in interviews, like overall, while they do use it to filter candidates out, they don't give much of an importance. So saying that the score was the highest point of your life, again, you would have to phrase it really well, make it seem like you overcame some struggles or something like that to bring it about that like you came over all of those struggles to achieve, get such a high score. That would be a good way to like go about it, because as a high point itself, it's kind of like you don't want to show that like you're giving importance to the score, or like as if the score is the only thing that matters on your application. Like, that's my thought. Like, so if you're going to use it, I would like phrase it like in a way that like, you overcame something to get that score.
About Dr. NG's answer, I think I liked it. I liked it really well. Dr. Bushra, maybe like you can either include the feedback of Ayushman and Lokesh, or probably think a little more about there could have been other higher points or something like that. So maybe you can just reflect and think a little more about it.
Thank you.
So should we close the meeting after this? I think because we are 1 hour 45 minutes, and I don't want to make it very long, because then next day people won't join. So I think I'll end the meeting. Thank you so much everybody for joining. Tomorrow we'll just continue with the same question for 15 to 20 minutes. Then we'll shift to what are the challenges we're going to face in internal medicine, and with another question. So thank you so much everybody for joining.
Thank you.
Have a good day, night ahead.
Thank you, Aishman.
Thank
Thank you so much for doing these sessions. This is very helpful.
It's helpful for me. It just helps me to boost my confidence while speaking, and just maintain the continuity with the interview preparation. Thank you so much for joining. I'm grateful.
Guys, I think we should all be putting on our camera from now henceforth, because it makes us more confident too. Just like Dr. Aishman, we should all put on our cameras.
I think like while answering, you should put on your cameras just so that it makes sure that you have an eye-to-eye contact with the interviewer. Like, I think that's even a very important aspect, because it's a virtual thing and we're not used to that. But I am used to it because I have to switch on my camera since I am the host and I have to conduct the session. So I have to do that. But you can just switch on the cameras, not throughout the meeting, but at least when you're talking. So it makes it more interactive. Plus, it will help add to your confidence and make sure that you have an eye-to-eye contact with the person you're talking with. So yeah. Anyways, you can even practice that at home as well. Like, you can just log into Zoom and have a session with yourself and record it. So even if that works for you, that whatever it is, just make sure that you learn that you have eye-to-eye contact while talking. Right. Thank you so much, everyone. So have a good day, night ahead. I'll be ending the meeting. And Dr. Surya, if you recorded this session, can you just add it to the group?
Recording stopped.
This one?